What's up, guys? We're back with a full slate of MLB action here on Thursday, May 1st. We're going to give out plays on every MLB game on the slate in both NBA playoff games. I'll give you my dog of the day and pick out my massive lock, my pick that, regardless of price, I think has the highest chance of cashing today. Unfortunately, guys, we apparently jinxed it. The run is over. 8-1 now. We got that 8-0 run. That was pretty fun, but the Cubs let us down, unfortunately. Mulzinski had his best start of the year there for the Pirates. And McCutchen, that hit in the 7th inning really did us in. So unfortunate to brick that one out, but we've been on a pretty good run there, guys. So slam that like button and subscribe to the channel if you want to keep seeing these videos every single day. And let me know what you're thinking in the comments. I personally answer every comment every single day. Check the pinned comment throughout the day to see our favorite picks. And it pays to check back a couple of times per day to see if there are any changes with injury news and, starters and all that kind of stuff being confirmed. In terms of yesterday, guys, the Wednesday games, they didn't all go our way. I'm not going to lie. We gave a little bit back. We've still got the Lakers minus 5.5. That one's still live at time of recording that game, just about to tip off. We had the Reds minus 136. That was a one-run game until very late in that game. No offense at all from Cincinnati there in game 1 of that series. So that was rough. We had the Twins at minus 130. It was a 4-2 loss there for Minnesota despite them out hitting Cleveland. That's pretty annoying to see. Now we did cash Kansas City, Tampa Bay, under 9 in that one. Only 3 runs scored in that game, so a very solid win there. And we did hit our dog of the day. It wasn't a huge dog. We had the Tigers at plus 110, and they do eventually end up coming through for us. And then taking the loss there on the Cubs like we just discussed. So not our best day, but we've been running pretty hot recently, so we're not going to complain too much. Now, guys, let's go ahead and hop into our first game here of this Thursday slate. We've got the Chicago Cubs going on the road to take on the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Cubs come into this game 18-3 on 13 on the season, fresh off of letting us down in that 4-3 loss in game 2 of that series. Pretty disappointing stuff. We'll see what goes on. They're going to be hitting the ball in this game to Colin Ray. He comes into this one, hasn't figured in a result this season, sporting an ERA of 0.96. That looks pretty good through his 3 starts this year. He doesn't go super deep into games, but when he's out there, he's been very effective and against very good teams as well. 3 2/3 innings there against the Dodgers. Only gave up a single earned run in that. 4 2/3 innings against Arizona. Gave up a single run in that. And his last time out, 5 innings, no runs, only 3 hits allowed there against the Phillies. So very good stuff. We'll see what Colin Ray can do out there in this one. In terms of the bullpen, obviously the Cubs are terrible. They've been letting us down this year. That's not a big surprise to anybody these days. That Cubs bullpen, pretty atrocious. Now the offense has normally been pretty good. Obviously they're coming off a game they only scored 3 runs, but man, it's rough out there. I mean, Nico Hoerner's off to a great start. We see Carson Kelly off to a very good start. The Cubs still the highest scoring team in the MLB so far, 181 runs scored here in the early goings. They're second in the majors in batting average, second in the majors in on-base percentage as well. Like, this is an elite offensive team. Is that going to hold up throughout the season? I would say there's a chance. I would not say that it's necessarily a lock, though. We'll see what they can do against the Pirates in this one. They're 12-19 this season. They're coming off that win. They needed to snap a 3-game losing streak there. Now, they're going to be hitting the ball to Paul Skeens, who, no shocker, there, guys, off to a fantastic start. 3-2 on the year, a 2.39 ERA. His last outing, very good there against the Dodgers. 6 1/3 innings, 5 hits, no runs allowed, struck out 9 and walked 0. So seems like he's back on track. He did have that rough start against the Cardinals, but other than that, he's been pretty much lights out this year. So no shock to see Skeens have a good outing. Now the Pirates bullpen has been significantly better than the Cubs bullpen this season as well. A 3.83 bullpen ERA is about MLB average. So I'm not throwing you a parade for that, but congratulations on being better than the Cubs, one of the worst bullpens in Major League Baseball. Now the offense for the Pirates, probably their biggest issue, guys. They scored 4 runs in their last game. They scored 4, 0, 2, 4, and 3 runs over their last few games. O'Neal Cruz, he's got 8 home runs and 16 RBIs. That's cool, but this team is 25th in the majors in runs scored and 26th in batting average. So not necessarily a ton of positives to look at here for the Pirates, who come into this game big favorites thanks to Skeens being on the mound. The Pirates are minus 160. The Cubs are plus 135. We've got a total of 7.5 out there. The Cubs 9-5 on the road, 18-10-2 to the over. The Pirates 6-8 at home, 15-14-1 to the under. I think this is a bounce back spot for the Cubs. I think you could take the Pirates in the first 5 if you wanted to, but I think we see the Cubs eventually come away with the win in this game. I think Colin Ray can go toe-to-toe with Skeens for at least, 3 or 4 innings there. And after that, we are worried about the Cubs bullpen. But really, guys, I think the offense probably will come out to play in this one. I think they'll get a run or 2 off of Skeens potentially, and I think they can do some real damage against that Pirates bullpen. So we'll see how it goes, but I'm slightly backing the Cubs here as a decent underdog. Next up, guys, we've got another day game. This one's the St. Louis Cardinals going on the road to take on the Cincinnati Reds. Now, these two teams just played a doubleheader yesterday, and Pretty bleak stuff there for the Reds. They scored 1 run over those 2 games. The Cardinals dominated, winning 6-0 and then 9-1. St. Louis only 14-17 on the year. They're handing the ball to Matthew Liberatore. He comes into this game 2-2 on the season, a 3.19 ERA, which when you're talking about a 25-year-old starter in the MLB, that's not terrible. And his last 3 outings have been very good. He's gone at least 6 innings in each one of them. He has not given up more than 2 earned runs in any of them, and the Cardinals are 2-1 over those 3 starts. So I'm sure they're pretty happy with him. I'm sure they're pretty disappointed in their bullpen, generally speaking. Now, it's getting maybe a touch better, a 4.04 bullpen ERA, maybe not as much doom and gloom as it was looking like, but that's obviously bolstered drastically by the fact, we just saw 2 full games with the Cardinals only giving up a total of 1 run. So we'll see if that continues. We'll see if the offense can keep doing what it's doing. Obviously, 15 runs scored over those 2 games yesterday feels great. I'm sure they're up to 12th in the majors in runs scored, so headed back in a positive direction. They're 3rd in the majors in batting average, batting .263 as a team. Now, I just don't necessarily know that this team has the legs for this. Now, maybe they do. Maybe this will continue indefinitely, but seems like a little bit of a stretch to me. So we'll see what they can do here against the Reds, who are down to 16-15 on the year. Probably feeling pretty grumpy about what they experienced there on Wednesday. Not a great feeling. They're handing the ball to Andrew Abbott, somebody that can definitely turn things around for them. He's 2-0 this season, a 3.60 ERA. Now, his last start was not great, and it was against the Rockies, so that raises a lot of questions, like how do you have a 4-inning, 5-hit, 4-earned run outing there against the Rockies? Well, I would say it's because you walked 5 hitters and you didn't have your best control. So I think it's a bounce back spot here for Andrew Abbott. That Reds bullpen has been pretty good, but not elite over the course of the year. I mean, they're not top 10, but they're better than average. So we'll give the Reds bullpen some credit. Obviously not coming off a good couple of days, but maybe they can do something positive here in terms of their offense. That's been the real sticking point for them, and it really was yesterday, obviously scoring 1 run over 18 innings, but we've seen Gavin Lux do some good stuff. Ellie De La Cruz can have these crazy pop-off games. The Reds' numbers are very skewed by that 24-point game they put up against Baltimore, but I don't think this is a team you should be terrified of at the plate. Now, looking at the numbers for this game, the Cardinals are plus 105, the Reds are minus 122. We've got a total of 8.5. I think that is emblematic of the Reds having a significant starter advantage here, and also being in a little bit of a bounce-back spot. Now, the Cardinals are only 3-12 on the road this season overall. That's pretty bad. 15, 13, and 2 to the over. Cincinnati's a 500 home team, and they're a slight under team as well. I'm not interested in the total in this game, but I do think the Reds probably bounce back here at minus 122. But after what I've seen the last couple of days, I have no confidence in this team, and this pick is not going in the pinned comment. Hopping in here with a quick reminder, guys, all of our videos are sponsored by StumpTheSpread.com. Click the link in the description to go over there and see the top confidence picks from our entire team of experienced cappers. Right now, our premium members are getting daily MLB, NBA, NHL, and UFC picks. Major League Baseball has been our most profitable sport the last 3 years running and is off to a fantastic start to the year. Overall, some crazy numbers being put up by our premium capper over there for baseball. He's been on quite the heater. Why do you think we were on a heater? He had gone 27-10 over a 37 pick span, and it has gotten even crazier since then. At StumpTheSpread.com, you'll be able to see exclusive free picks that are only posted there, our free-to-use bet size calculator, and our premium top confidence picks, which, like I was just saying, guys, will not usually match what you see here in the video. You need to sign up for our free email newsletter, also from Stump the Spread. It's completely free. All they need is your name and your email address. That'll get you on the email list, and once a day you'll get a free pick straight to your inbox. Usually you'll get a free pick parlay straight to your inbox as well, so definitely worth getting over there, signing up for a free account, and getting on that email list. And if you're a huge fan of what we do here every single day, you can sign up for a channel membership by clicking the little join button right below the video. Channel members are eligible for our members only giveaways. We'll be giving away a Stump the Spread hoodie to one random channel member here on May 20th. We do at least one giveaway per month, hopefully here very soon. We're at 65 members now. If we get to 70, we're going to up that to 2 giveaways per month. So let's hop back in and look at some more games. Rolling right along here with another day game, we're looking at the Arizona Diamondbacks going on the road to take on these New York Mets. Now, the Diamondbacks come into this game fresh off a 4-3 win there yesterday at New York. So now the series is tied 1 game apiece. The Diamondbacks are handing the ball to Zach Gallen, who comes into this one only 1-4 this year, a 5.57 ERA. Now, his last start may be a step in the right direction, but definitely not a leap in the right direction. 5 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned runs against Atlanta in a game the Diamondbacks eventually lost 8-2. Probably doesn't really make the fan base too happy. The bullpen situation for Arizona is headed in the direction you would expect, a 4.46 bullpen ERA, not something to alert the authorities about. And Also, yeah, the offense has fallen off a bit. They've scored 4, 3, 6, 7, and 2 runs over their last few games. That's not the way this team was designed. This is supposed to be an absolutely elite level offensive team. So we'll see if they can do something about that, but it's getting a little bit sketchy. They're still 5th in the majors in runs scored, but 15th in batting average, 8th in on-base percentage. They've got a little bit of work to do to make me think they're the dominant offensive team they were a season ago. So looking at the numbers for the Mets here, they come into this game obviously fresh off that loss, but at 21-10 on the season, things are doing pretty good. Now, their bullpen is getting a little bit banged up. That is certainly room for concern there. We'll see what happens, but they're hitting the ball in this one to Kodai Sanaga, who is 3-1 this year, a 1.26 ERA. Looks like the bullpen might not be getting that much work in this one. His last time out, 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs there against the Washington Nationals. Now, that game did end up being a 5-4 loss there for the Mets, but it was not Senga's fault. It was not Senga's fault. He did what he was supposed to do out there, and yeah, the start before that, he shut down the Cardinals completely. Start before that, like, bro has been lights out this season. I'm expecting very good stuff from Senga in this one. A little bit of a bounce back spot here for Kodai. And even with the injuries, the Mets bullpen has been solid, top 7 or 8 in the majors, a 3.05 bullpen ERA. So I'm not too terrified for their bullpen either. The offense has, like, obviously yesterday was a step back, but in general, they've been killing the ball. I mean, they had that 19-run game against Washington. They scored 8 in game 1 of this series. This is a good offense, guys. They're 8th in the majors in runs scored. They're 7th in slugging percentage. Pete Alonso looking like one of the most dangerous power hitters in Major League Baseball right now. So I think they're going to find a way to get some runs across the plate against Zach Gallen and the Diamondbacks. Now, looking at the numbers for this game, I'm a little bit shocked. The Diamondbacks are plus 130. The Mets are minus 155. We've got a total of 7.5 in a Mets-Diamondbacks game. That seems wild to me. Now, when you look at the trends, it makes a little bit more sense. Arizona 7-6 on the road, 15-10-4 to the over. The Mets 13-1 at home. That's an MLB best mark at home. That's pretty crazy. They're 18-11-1 to the under. So I think that's part of the reason for this low total. Also, you know, Senga's really good, but I think this is a spot I'm going to lean a bit towards the over 7.5 here, but I also think the Mets at minus 155 is a super reasonable spot if you ask me. They're coming off a tough loss. They're going to score some runs against Zach Gallen, and then they get to go up against the Diamondbacks bullpen, which is bad. So, yeah, give me the Mets in this one. I think Senga has a bounce back, and I think the Mets get the job done. Rolling right along here, guys, we're looking at the Kansas City Royals going on the road to take on the Tampa Bay Rays. The Royals come into this game 16-15 on the year. We cashed another under in this series, guys. So slam that thumbs up button if you're a big fan of cashing that bet, because, yeah, we're not seeing a ton of offense in this series. I don't think that should be a huge shock to anybody, but we had totals of 9 in each of the first 2 games. We took the under, and both of those were good. Those are also both wins there for the Royals, who are going to be hitting the ball to Seth Lugo in this game. He's 2-3 this season, a 3.08 ERA. Now, his last start was a beauty. Probably his best start of the season, honestly. He went 8 innings, gave up 3 hits, no runs, struck out 8, and walked 1 in a 2-0 win there against the Houston Astros. So very, very good stuff. Now, this is his first start after his longest start of the season. So that's a concern, something we are certainly going to keep an eye on in this game, because if we see him, you know, showing some fatigue, that could be a problem. The Royals bullpen should be there to bail him out, a 3.28 bullpen ERA. Nothing wrong with that. Certainly not something we're concerned about there. The offense is not ideal, though. I mean, Bobby Witt Jr. just continues. I mean, he's looked really, really good. He's batting .322. Got up to a bit of a slow start and has had a lengthy hitting streak going there for a while now. They're tied for 29th in the majors in runs scored, though. They've scored 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 6, and 7 runs over their last several games. So not an elite offense going on the road to take on the Tampa Bay Rays. The Royals are looking for that sweep. The Rays are 0-2 to start this series. They're 14-16 on the year. Handing the ball in this one to Shane Baz, who's off to a great start. He is 3-0, a 2.45 ERA. His last outing, 7 innings, 4 hits, struck out 6, walked 1, gave up no runs, and a 1-0 win there at the San Diego Padres. That's elite work, especially from a 25-year-old starter. You don't find much better than that. So pretty high on Shane Baz right now. The bullpen for Tampa Bay has also been elite. Top 5, a 2.90 bullpen ERA. Pretty crazy work there. Once again, though, guys, we see the offense being the Achilles heel of a team. I mean, they're 18th in the majors in runs scored. They're 8th in batting average, but they've scored 0, 1, 4, 4, 1, and 7 runs over their last few. This is not an elite offense either. So looking at the numbers of this game, the Royals are plus 123. The Rays are minus 145. We got totals out there of 8.5 or 8. Kansas City only 4-10 on the road, 19-10-1 to the under. Tampa Bay 9-11 at home, 16-11-2 to the under. Guys, we got to look at the under again. I don't know if it's going in the pin comment 3 days in a row. If there was a 9, it definitely would. Since we can find 8.5s out there, I would say it definitely has something of a chance. I like both of these starters. I am worried about Lugo, though, coming off of such an extended start. So lean towards the under a little bit. In terms of the side, I'll take the Tampa Bay Rays here at -145 with Shane Baz on the mound and Lugo coming off of such an extended start. Do either of these plays have a chance to end up in the pinned comment? I would say yes. Probably that under has the biggest chance, but we'll have to wait and see. Rolling right along into another day game, we're looking at the Minnesota Twins going on the road to take on the Cleveland Guardians. The Twins let us down yesterday, losing 4-2 despite out-hitting Cleveland in that one. Bo Naylor hitting that 3-run home run. Not great. The Twins, 13-18 on the year, hitting the ball in this one to Simeon Woods-Richardson. He comes into this game 2-2, a 4.07 ERA, but fresh off a pretty solid start there against the Angels. I know it's the Angels, so let's not freak out, but we saw him go 5 1/3 innings, give up 4 hits, a single earned run, strike out 7 and walk 0. So certainly his best start of the year. Now he's got to face the Guardians. We'll see how he does. Definitely a little bit of a change of pace there for him in terms of, the caliber of opponent. Now the bullpen for the Twins, it's been solid. Also top 10 or 11, something like that, with a 3.49 bullpen ERA. No problems there. The offense in this series has been MIA, though, guys. Game 1, they scored 11 runs. The last 2 games, they scored 1 and 2 runs, respectively. This isn't going to be an elite offense. There's just no way. They're 20th in on-base percentage. They are 22nd in batting average. Don't have anybody going particularly nuts out there, so not expecting a ton of offense from the Twins just in general here as they go on the road to take on the Guardians, who've now won 2 out of 3 so far in this series. That Bo Naylor home run, a big deal. Emmanuel Class getting the save. That helps. Also, they're hitting the ball to Ben Lively in this game. He's 1-2 on the season, a 4.40 ERA. Now, his last start was against Boston, and it wasn't his best start of the year. He's kind of been alternating good and bad starts, something that's been going on since back on the 2nd of April. A bad start against San Diego, a good start against the White Sox, a bad start against the Royals, a great start against the Pirates, a bad start against Boston. Now he goes up against Minnesota. I guess he's due for a good start, right? That would be how this works. Now, the Cleveland bullpen this season has not been as good as last year, a 3.79 bullpen ERA. Not a disaster level bullpen, but not great. The offense depends a lot on, just you got to have somebody random step up every night, it feels like. They're 23rd in the majors in runs scored, 23rd in on-base percentage, and they're only batting .236 as a team. So definitely not an offense that I would label as elite. Now, look at the numbers. The Twins, -105. The Guardians, -115. We've got a total of 9 out there. Minnesota's only 4-11 on the road, 16-11-3 to the under. Cleveland, 9-5 at home, 15-12-2 to the over. Guys, I'm not interested in total, but I'll go ahead and take the Guardians at -115 here with Ben Lively on the mound and due for one of his good starts. I would say Simeon Woods-Richardson is due for a bad start. I think he'll have a little bit of a step back after such a good outing his last time out. So give me the Guardians here at -115 as a pretty small lean. Next up, guys, we're looking at the Milwaukee Brewers going on the road to take on the Chicago White Sox in another day game. The Brewers having a pretty good time out there, winning 6-4 there. Jake Bauers 2-run double, putting the Brewers in front. Pretty helpful there for Milwaukee. They're hitting the ball in this one to Chad Patrick. He comes into this game 1-2 on the year, but a 2.45 ERA. He's been very consistent. He hasn't given up more than 2 earned runs in any of his last 5 starts. He's faced Kansas City, Cincinnati, Arizona, the Athletics, and the St. Louis Cardinals over those outings. We do notice the Brewers are only 2-3 over those starts, so he's not getting tons of run support, but he's putting his team in a good position to win, and that's all you can really ask for. The bullpen for Milwaukee has been a big problem this season. They're getting better, though. A 4.74 bullpen ERA is far from the bottom of what we've seen from the Brewers this season. The offense has been a pretty big help. I mean, they've scored 13 runs over the first 2 games of this series. Terang hitting the ball well, Churio hitting the ball well. This team is 5th in the majors in runs scored for a reason. They are 23rd in slugging percentage, which is a bit concerning, but 10th in on-base percentage. This is going to be a pretty good offense in general, I think, this season. So going up against the White Sox probably feels like light work. This Chicago team, 7-23 on the season. They've dropped 3 in a row. They're hitting the ball to Sean Burke, who's, 1-4 this year, a 6.00 ERA. Not exactly killing it out there. His last outing, 5 1/3 innings, 5 hits, 4 runs allowed, 3 of them were earned. He's given up at least 1 home run over his last 5 starts, and a couple of those starts he's given up 2. He's not racking up big strikeout numbers. He's just not having a great time out there. He's young. He's 25 years old. Maybe he'll, mature, do better over the course of the season at some point. But right now, it's not looking super hot. So we'll see what goes on here for the White Sox. Obviously, they can't lean on their bullpen too much. It's pretty horrendous, and it's headed in the wrong direction, a 4.40 bullpen ERA. And once again this year, this is going to be one of the worst offenses in Major League Baseball. They're last in batting average, 2nd to last in slugging percentage, 3rd to last in on-base percentage, and 4th to last with only 97 runs scored over this entire season. So Looking at the numbers, the Brewers are minus 180 in this game. The White Sox are plus 150. We've got a total of 8.5. Milwaukee 6-11 on the road, 15-12-3 to the under. The White Sox 4-9 at home, 14-13-2 to the under. Guys, I like the Brewers here at minus 180. Now, it's a very expensive price, so probably the only way the Brewers are going to go in there is as our massive lock of the day. We'd really like to get a nice long streak going once again. That journey starts with a single step, like every journey does. I think somebody famous said that at one point. So give me the Brewers here at minus 180. I think they win this game the vast majority of the time. This could possibly be our lock of the day. Next on the docket, we're into an early afternoon game. We've got the Sacramento Athletics going on the road to take on the Texas Rangers. The Athletics come into this game, guys, 15-15 on the year. They're actually currently playing right now with the Rangers, but looking like the Athletics are going to win that one. They are up 7-1 there in game 2. A nice bounce back after losing 15-2 in game 2 of this series. So this is game 3 or game 4 of this series that we're going to be looking at. Yeah, game 4 is what we're going to be looking at in this one. The Athletics going to be hitting the ball to Jeffrey Spriggs. He's 3-3 this year, a 6.04 ERA, and his last couple of outings have not been the best, and they weren't even against the toughest opponents. He struggled against the White Sox twice recently, got shelled there by the Brewers. Like, this is not a good look. Not a good look at all. So he's in need of a huge bounce back in this one. Seems like something of a big ask. Now, the A's bullpen also not headed in the right direction, guys. A 4.68 bullpen ERA. Not something to write home about. Not ideal. Not helping your team win. Now, the offense has been a whole different situation. This is a very good offensive team. 17th in runs scored, but they are 9th in batting average, 6th in slugging percentage. We've got guys like Jacob Wilson hitting the ball really well. Soderson's off to a great start. So the Athletics have some pop up there. Will that matter here against the Rangers? Well, we'll see. It didn't matter in game 2 necessarily because the Rangers put up 1,000,000 runs, but we'll see what happens here. The Rangers handing the ball to Tyler Mayhill. He's 3-0 this year, a 1.14 ERA. His last start looked like he was going to have some problems. He did give up 8 hits over 5 innings, but only 2 earned runs. And that one, start before that, 7 innings, no runs. Start before that, 6 innings, no runs. You can kind of see where this is going. This dude's been awesome this year. We'll see if that can continue here going up against, a kind of hard-hitting team. Now, what kind of run support will he get? The Rangers obviously not known for that, but the bullpen's been excellent, a 3.27 bullpen ERA. The offense, very all over the place and generally not good. They've had some injuries and stuff like that. That has not helped. They're 25th in the majors in runs scored, 27th in the majors in on-base percentage. So significant room for concern here, but they should be able to get some runs off of Jeffrey Spriggs. So looking at the numbers here, it makes sense that the Rangers beat big favorites. They're minus 160 at home. The Athletics are plus 135 on the road. We've got a total of 8.5. The Athletics 9-6 on the road, so a pretty good road team. 14-12-4 to the over. The Rangers 11-4 at home, 21-9 to the under. That's an MLB best mark to the under this season. So I'm going to lean, despite all this, maybe slightly towards the under in this game, but I think you just kind of got to close your eyes and take the Rangers, and I don't think there's any way the Athletics win this game. Now, are the Rangers at minus 160 going to end up in the pin comment? I would say they've got a chance here with Mayhill on the mound. He has been lights out. Rolling right along here, guys, we're finally into the evening games. We're looking at the Washington Nationals going on the road to take on the Philadelphia Phillies. Now, the Nationals 13-18 on the year. They've lost the first 2 games of this series. Yeah, that Schwarber 3-run home run definitely did not help things there. Yeah, we'll see what they can do here, hitting the ball to Brad Lord. He comes into this game yet to figure in a result. This is going to be his 5th start of the season, and he's looked good in his last couple. A good start at Colorado and a very reasonable start there against the Mets. Now, neither one of those games ended up being wins for the Nationals. That's worth mentioning. But overall, I don't think they're too unhappy with what they're seeing from Lord. However, the bullpen is an unmitigated disaster, guys. A 7.41 bullpen ERA is truly embarrassing stuff. So we'll see if they can clean that up at any point, but it is not looking good there for them. As soon as the starter comes out of the game, it is batting practice time for the opponents. Also, the offense, it hasn't been a disaster either, but it's not looking great. I mean, 14th in the majors in runs scored. They scored 2, 6, 5, 8, 0, and 5 runs over their last few games. So there's some guys hitting the ball well, like James Woods. Ruiz is doing okay out there, but just not an offensive team that I can really get behind in a big way. Now, they're taking on the Phillies, who probably feel good about life right now. They've won 4 in a row. They're up to 17-13 on the year, starting to look like the team they are supposed to be. They're going to be hitting the ball to Taijuan Walker in this game. He's 1-2 this season, a 2.78 ERA. Now, his last couple of starts have been lights out, and really his only bad numbers come from that one bad start there against the Giants. So take that out, and suddenly Bro is putting up very good numbers this season. And maybe his last outing, 3 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs against the Cubs. That's not great, but I think Walker could be in for a good outing here against the Nationals. Now, the bullpen for the Phillies, kind of the same situation as the Nationals. It's not quite that bad, but it's bad. A 5.03 bullpen ERA. That falls into the atrocious category. Now, the offense kind of coming in to save the day. They've scored 7, 7, 3, and 10 runs over their last few. Schwarber, big time doing his thing. He's up to 9 home runs, 23 RBIs right now. He's batting .245, which for him isn't the end of the world. We see the Phillies 12th in the majors in runs scored, 4th in on-base percentage, though. I think this offense is going to continue to show signs of improvement, and so do the odds makers. The Nationals are plus 145. The Phillies are minus 170. We've got a total of 9.5 out there. Washington, 4-10 on the road, 21-9 to the over. That's an MLB best mark to the over. The Phillies, 10-4 at home, 15-14 to the under. In terms of the total in this game, I don't really love the over since it's such a big number, but I guess lean towards the over. I do think there's a good enough reason here to back the Phillies at minus 170. I like Walker out there a lot more than I like Brad Lord, but with neither bullpen really being trustworthy at all, this is not a play that I think goes anywhere near the pinned comment. Flying through these games, guys, we're looking at the Boston Red Sox going on the road to take on the Toronto Blue Jays. Now, the Red Sox come into this game 15-17 on the season, but they're fresh off a 7-6 loss there. That was a pretty rough loss there in extra innings to Toronto in Game 2. Now, they'll be looking to bounce back, but hitting the ball to Tanner Houck this season is not necessarily usually, made it look like there's going to be a bounce back. He's 0-2, a 7.58 ERA. His last outing gave up 8 hits, 4 earned runs over 5 innings against Cleveland. He faced Toronto earlier this season and had a decent start. He went 6 2/3 innings, gave up 5 hits and only a single earned run. So it wasn't terrible, but it definitely wasn't, I wouldn't put it in the dominant category. And he's had some struggles since then. He got shelled by Tampa Bay, gave up a couple earned runs there to Chicago, the White Sox, And over his last 4 starts, we've seen all losses for the Red Sox. So they need him to be better. They also need to give him more run support, but that bullpen for the Red Sox has also not been great. A 4.05 bullpen ERA is a significant problem here. And the offense, they've been doing what it's supposed to do recently. I mean, they've scored 6, 10, 13, 7, and 4 runs over their last few games. Bregman's been very good. Obviously, he's off to a great start. They're 3rd in the majors in runs scored and 7th in batting average. So this is going to be a good offense. No question about it. Now, will they be a good offense in this game? Well, they're taking on the Blue Jays, who are 14-16 on the year, obviously coming off that win. They're hitting the ball to Jose Barrios, who has not been great this year, 1-1, a 4.24 ERA. The last time he faced Boston, though, he was dominant. That was back on the 7th. He went 7 innings, gave up 4 hits, only a single earned run, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, and we saw Toronto win that game 6-2. Also, his last start against the Yankees shut them out over 5 1/3 innings. He did give up 5 hits, gave up no runs, and that was a 4-2 win for Toronto also. So definitely got to keep that in consideration here. Now, the bullpen for the Toronto Blue Jays this season, I'm not going to get too excited about it, but it's around average, which isn't the end of the world for a Toronto team that's had some bullpen struggles. So we're not too worried about that. The offense, they've scored 7, 2, 1, 2, and 4 runs over their last few games. That's not really going to get me going. I mean, George Springer's hitting the ball well, but they're 27th in the majors in runs scored and 27th in the majors in slugging percentage. So look at the numbers here. The Red Sox minus 110, the Blue Jays minus 110. The odds makers have this as a flip. We got a total of 8.5 out there. Boston 9-8 on the road, 15-14-2 to the under. Toronto 8-6 at home, 17-11 to the under. So under 8.5, I think is slightly live in this game, slightly live. And it's not my favorite play, but my favorite play on this one is definitely the Toronto Blue Jays at minus 110. Barrios is throwing the ball really, really well. Houck not throwing the ball great and going up against a team that he could have had. He was very close to having a terrible outing against earlier this year. So definitely give me a good hard look at the Toronto Blue Jays in this one. Rounding into the home stretch, guys, we're looking at the Detroit Tigers going on the road to take on the Los Angeles Angels. The Tigers come into this game 19-12 on the season. They did just win their last game against the Astros 7-4, so we'll definitely take that. Slam that like button if you enjoyed cashing that Tigers play, but overall, it's been a little bit up and down, and obviously not a great series. Now they're going to try and get back on track with a new series here going up against the Angels. The Tigers are hitting the ball to Casey Mize. He's 4-1 this year, a 2.12 ERA. Now, his last start, he was constantly pitching his way out of trouble there against Baltimore. He gave up 8 hits over 5 1/3 innings, but only gave up that single earned run, and that was on a home run. He struck out 5, walked 0 in that start, so we're kind of expecting him to have a good outing in this one. I think he'll bounce back a little bit. Not really control issues in that game, just getting dinged up. So I think we'll see Mize have a good start. That bullpen for the Tigers obviously has been very nice this season. Top 4 in the majors. A 2.74 bullpen ERA is obviously elite. The offense has scored 7, 4, 5, 7, and 6 runs over their last few. McKinstry and Torkelson really being the engines behind this offense. That is 11th in the majors in runs scored and 11th in the majors in on-base percentage. So we'll see what they look like against the Angels, who come into this game 12 and 17 on the year. They're on a 5-game losing streak now, and you're not going to be too shocked to hear this, but Mike Trout leaving a game with a knee injury, not looking great. Not looking great. I'd be flabbergasted to see him play in this one. We'll see what happens. The Angels already down to 24th in the majors in runs scored, 29th in batting average, and losing Trout not exactly going to help that situation. They're handing the ball in this one to Yusei Kikuchi, who's 0-4 this season, coming off of not his best start. Went 2 innings, gave up 9 hits and 4 earned runs against the Twins. Kikuchi's been a little bit of a disappointment. He's had some good starts mixed in there with the bad, but overall, it has not looked amazing for him. And the bullpen for the Angels, predictably terrible, bottom 2 in the majors, a 5.49 bullpen ERA. So not a lot of great stuff to talk about here for the Los Angeles Angels. The odds makers have the Tigers at -125, the Angels at +105. We got a total of 8. Detroit 6-9 on the road, 16, 13, and 2 to the under. The Angels 5-4 at home, 14, 13, and 1 to the under. I'm not messing the under in this game, but I will certainly take a look at the Tigers at -125. I don't love having a ton of road teams. Obviously, right now the road teams have been struggling in general, but I think the Tigers at -125 too good of a price to pass up here, especially with Casey Mize on the mound. And our last game here of the baseball slate before we hop over and look at the NBA playoff slate, we're going to look at the Colorado Rockies going on the road to take on the San Francisco Giants. Now, the Rockies did manage to eke out a win in Game 3 there against Atlanta. They're now 5-25 on the season. They avoid having the worst 30-game start since 1901. So congratulations, I guess, on that. They're going to be handing the ball to Kyle Freeland. He's 0-4 this year, a 5.93 ERA. A tale as old as time, a bad starter there for the Rockies. 4 1/3 innings, 10 hits, 6 earned runs, and an 8-7 loss there against Cincinnati his last time out. And the Rockies are 0-5 over his last 5 starts. So that's not great. The Rockies bullpen, not as bad as last season. A 3.75 bullpen ERA is pretty respectable. We'll see if that lasts. The offense is horrifying, guys. They scored 2 runs in the last game, 2, 2, 3, 1, 4, and 7 runs over their last few. They're 29th in the majors in runs scored, 29th in on-base percentage. Not going to waste a lot of time talking about this offense. They are terrible. The Giants, on the other hand, have been very good this year. 19-12 this season. They did just lose both games in a little 2-game set there at San Diego. They're going to be handing the ball to Justin Verlander. We'll see what the 42-year-old has in the tank for this one. He's 0-2 in the year, a 4.99 ERA. Now, his last couple of starts seems like somehow, I have no idea how, he's found the fountain of youth, and he is kind of making it happen because against the Rangers, 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, and then start for that against the Angels. I know, not very good offensive teams. He did a very, very good job out there. 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run. So he's going up against a bad offense in this one. We'll see if things hold up there. Now, the bullpen for the Giants, whenever Verlander comes out, has been one of the best 2 bullpens in Major League Baseball this season. So that's a very nice safety blanket to have. The offense, though, has spluttered a little bit recently. They scored 3, 4, 3, and 3 runs over their last few games. They're currently sitting at 10th in the majors in runs scored, but 24th in batting average and 22nd in slugging percentage. Make me think maybe this offense was just running a little bit hot. So, looking at the numbers for this game, the Rockies are plus 195, the Giants are minus 240. We've got a total of 7.5 out there. The Rockies are only 1-14 on the road. Maybe they're 2-14 on the road now. I'm not sure that updated, but that is a Major League Baseball worst number. They're also 29-1 to the under. San Francisco 9-4 at home, 17-12-1 to the over. I'm not going to be taking the total in this game, but it feels crazy to take anything except for the Giants minus 240 or minus 1.5 if you're interested in that. I'm not going to be on the total of 7.5. That's just not a number that interests me with Verlander on the mound. So I think the Giants probably get the job done in this one, but I'm not showing too much value out there. Now, guys, we're going to hop over and look at the 2 NBA playoff games we've got on the slate. And first up, we're looking at the New York Knicks going on the road here to take on the Detroit Pistons. They come into this game with the Knicks currently up 3-2, but things are getting a little bit weird there. We saw the Pistons get the 106-103 win there in Game 5, so this is an interesting series. The Knicks come into this one probably feeling bad, but I don't think they can feel horrible about that loss. Like, nobody really played terrible except for Brunson, but he had an ankle injury partway through the game, so he has a pretty good excuse. We saw 17 points from Bridges, and Anunoby had 19 on fairly efficient shooting numbers. Cat probably is the one to feel bad. I mean, 17 points, a minus 12. He was only 5 of 14 from the field, so I expect him to come out once again looking for a shot, and obviously the bench there for the Knicks. I guess Mitchell Robinson did have a good day, but the Knicks bench has been pretty atrocious throughout this entire series, but also all season long. When you don't get to play any minutes, you don't usually have a bunch of super great bench talent. So we'll see what the Knicks can do in this one. They do come into this game technically fully healthy, but I am worried about that ankle there for Brunson. I don't think it's going to be quite at 100%. Now, the Pistons, I'm sure, come into this game feeling really good about the win, but also really tilted that they had that one game stolen from them where it was clearly a foul on that three-point shot on the last possession. Now, in that 106-103 win, they got that in large part due to, obviously a pretty good 24-point game there from Cade, although he was only 6 of 17 from the field. He was 11 of 12 from the free throw line. Tobias Harris and Asar Thompson both had very, very good games out there, and the bench chipped in. Schroeder, 14 points, 10 points there from Malik Beasley, who still can't seem to find his shot. The Pistons managed to win this game despite shooting only 27.6% from the three-point line. Gonna have to be better than that. So looking at the injury report here for the Pistons, Isaiah Stewart still appears like he's going to be out for this game. Getting him back, I feel like would help here, but you never really know, especially at this point in the series when they've been used to playing without him. So looking at the numbers for this game, the Pistons are -2. We've got a total of 213 out there. The Knicks 21-22 against spread on the road, 44-42-1 to the over. Detroit 19-23-1 against the spread at home, 43-42-1 to the over. Guys, I think there's a pretty decent chance the Pistons manage to get the win in this game. I think Brunson's a little bit banged up here. I'm not expecting him to have a great time. We'll be talking about that in the props here in just a second, but I think the Pistons probably find a way to come away with this win, and since I do think the Pistons are going to win and cover that 2 points, I'm leaning towards the under because a low-scoring game definitely fits the Pistons way, way more than it fits the Knicks. But looking at the props for this game, I'm much more interested in these, and I like Brunson here under 28.5 points. That ankle's going to bother him, and while he's basically the entire Knicks offense aside from Cat sometimes, I don't think he's in for a good night here on the road. Coming off 16 points, I don't think we see him scoring 30 on that ankle. And I also like Tim Hardaway Jr. here, over 2.5 made threes. He's going back home. I'm expecting another big shooting night from him. He's wildly inconsistent, so maybe don't go wild on this one. He could go 0 of 10, but I think he's in for a massive performance, and you could go with his over on points. I wouldn't have any problem with either one of those plays, but probably my favorite prop of the night on this game, at least, I think, Asar Thompson, over 4.5 rebounds is super, super good value. He had 7 rebounds in Game 5. It was a huge part of their road win. He's going back home. I fully expect to see him aggressive again, both offensively and on the boards, and for the Pistons to have a good chance to put together something interesting at home and force a Game 7 back at Madison Square Garden. So, yeah, definitely like Asar Thompson here to have a good night and to get at least 5 boards. Last but not least here, guys, we're looking at the Denver Nuggets going on the road to take on the LA Clippers in our other interesting series out there that's going on right now. Well, maybe not the other, but you know what I'm talking about. Denver comes into this game with a 3-2 series lead after a smackdown. They laid a smackdown on the Clippers there in Game 5, winning 131-115 in a game that wasn't even as close as that final score would indicate. We saw pretty crazy stuff. Finally saw playoff Jamal Murray. Been a long, long time since we've seen him, but he came out in force, put up 43 points, was 8 of 14 from 3, 17 of 26 from the field in general. Jokic did not have to do everything out there, and it was awesome for him, I'm sure. He put up a triple-double, 13 points, 10 rebounds, 12 assists, and was more than happy to play the facilitator and let Murray go nuts. And nuts he did go. So congratulations to him. Also congratulations to Russell Westbrook putting up a monster performance. He scored 21 points, made 3 of 6 from 3, and in general, Denver shot the lights out from long range, going 17 of 33 from distance. That's almost 52% from deep. So elite stuff there from Denver. Can they replicate that here on the road? Seems like an enormous, enormous ask. It's not impossible, but how often do you see somebody, see a team go that bonkers on the road? So we'll see if they can do it. It's not impossible. We'll see if they can do it here. They're going to be taking on a very determined Clippers squad that's probably a little bit embarrassed. James Harden should certainly be embarrassed. He's been terrible recently, and maybe not the entire playoffs, but most of the series he's been awful. He's coming off an 11-point game where he was pretty much useless out there. I guess he had 8 boards. Congratulations on that. Kawhi put up 20 points and 11 assists. A very good night from him. Chris Dunn actually shot the ball extremely well. You're probably not going to see that again in this series. 18 points off the bench from Bogdanovic is a great look for him, somebody who has struggled to really produce offensively, but has played some decent defense at times, although he does get targeted, so he gets lots of opportunities to play decent defense. So we'll see what the Clippers can put together here. They need this. Obviously facing elimination here. Got their backs against the wall. We'll see what they can do. They are 6.5-point favorites at home. We've got a total of 212.5. Denver 21-22 against spread on the road, 50-37 to the over. The Clippers 29-14 against the spread at home, 45, 40, and 2 to the under. I'm going to take the Clippers here at -6.5. Feels a bit sketchy, not going to lie, but I do think we're going to see a big drop-off here from Jamal Murray. Jokic going to have to carry the load in a huge way himself again, and I don't know if that's going to result in Denver being able to keep this game super close. There are also a lot of other guys that could regress there for the Nuggets. In terms of that total of 212.5, I'm going to lean towards the over. I think a higher scoring game favors the Clippers here a little bit, so I think over 212.5 definitely live in this game. But we've got some props that I like a good amount here, and first up, I'll take Harden's under or over on points. Harden over 21.5. This should be a huge bounce back spot for him, a huge bounce back game, but in the playoffs, he just struggles so much. This number being a little bit bigger than I expected throws me off a little bit, so I'm a little bit scared. That one's not going to go in the pinned comment, but I would say that Zubac over 18.5 points has a great chance to end up in the pinned comment. He has looked unstoppable in this series in general. I don't expect him to slow down going back home. Jokic doesn't really have the energy, generally speaking, to guard him. No one else for the Nuggets has the size or the ability. I guess DeAndre Jordan technically has this. DeAndre Jordan can't guard him. DeAndre Jordan can't guard anybody, but we'll see what Zubac can do. I'm expecting a big night for him, and I'm also expecting Jamal Murray to have a pretty big letdown after that massive game. I'll take him under 20.5 points. Huge game in Game 5. I expect this to be a big drop-off here on the road. Maybe we see playoff Jamal Murray back in Denver for Game 7, but we're going to have to wait for Game 7 before we start guessing what's going to happen then. That's all the games we have for today. Hit that like button for good luck on all your bets. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Get in the comments. Let me know anything you want to say about my picks or anything else you see here. Most importantly, guys, click that link in the description, get over to stumpthespread.com, set up a free account, get on that email list, and consider checking out our premium MLB picks over there. Our MLB capper has been on absolute fire here through the early goings. Also, his hockey picks have been pretty good. My NBA picks have been excellent here recently, so definitely fully worth the value. You can pay for your subscription by just hitting 1 or 2 bets, and it's easily taken care of, and then you're just free rolling all of that great information. We will see you guys back here, same time, same place on Friday for more sports betting action.